What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JB, and I am here with a review for P-Valley. You guys, this is season 1, episode number 4, and it's titled The Trap. You guys, we got to talk about P-Valley. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And we've been picked up for a season 2. Yes, baby, we in that bitch for season 2. All right, you guys, so without further ado, we have got to get right into this episode review. So let's get into it, shall we? All right, you guys, so it's like really hard to know where to start at it with these episodes. What the fuck is... Okay, so yeah, we're gonna start up with Autumn. It's like when it comes to this show, it's so excellent and great that it's kind of hard for me to figure out a starting point for this review. But with this review, I think I'm gonna start up with Autumn. So you guys remember last week's episode, we saw Autumn. Autumn was, transferring. She got that money that she transferred to herself, the $9,000. So this week we see Autumn and she's in her, I don't know what you call that place, because it doesn't even look like it's somewhere that should be in. It should be condemned by the state, because it just doesn't look appeasing to my eyes or anybody's eyes. So we see Autumn. She has a cabinet full of liquor, and I'm like, is that all you do is just drink? So then we see Autumn. So Autumn is pouring the liquor into the bathtub, and I'm like, why is she doing this? And then she's putting the money in there, and she's taking the money out, and she's drying it. And I'm like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it soon made sense to me. She was doing that so that way when she took it to the bank, they didn't really question her about where she got the money from, because if she took in crisp, clean money, they would be like, they would raise a red flag of, where the fuck you get all this money from? So okay, I'm with it. And we found out the woman, the teller is like, don't I know? She's talking about, one of my clients, they spilled alcohol on. She's like, me and my husband both know. So let's move on. So then at the club, Uncle Clifford, she came in there and she was telling the girls who was next up to perform. And, Gidget and Mississippi were in there. And, Uncle Clifford said, September, August, I need to talk to you. So they go back to Uncle Clifford's office, and they're talking. So Uncle Clifford is telling Autumn that he's done some digging, and he found out that people with the last name Jenkins are getting half of what the Trumps are getting. He's like, do you understand? And he told her that Corbin's land is only worth $500,000, but they're giving them $6 million, which, damn, that's a lot of money. So you raising up the price on the land when the land ain't really worth nothing. And that's the funny thing. The land that Corbin them has is not worth anything. The land that they really need is the bank. But I'll talk about that in just a minute. So Autumn says, what did they offer you? And Uncle Clifford said, they ain't offer me shit. She's like, you don't own this? He's like, oh, I definitely own this. It's been passed down from family. He said, I just got myself in a little bit of, little bit of debt that I'm gonna pay it off. And Uncle Clifford is telling Autumn, have I been saying he? You guys, I'm sorry, I meant to say, slip of the tongue. So Uncle Clifford is telling Autumn that she needs her to to talk to Andre, and she's like, I'm not talking to Andre. Andre got pictures of me on his computer. Uncle Clifford was like, girl, you ain't special. He also got pictures of me on his computer too. And Uncle Clifford shows her. So then, I don't want to talk about that just yet. Okay, so then we do see Andre. So Andre is with, the mayor, Mayor Ruffin, and they're doing a presentation for one of the people with the casino. So Andre, he felt the need to tell the guy, his name is Bill. Excuse me, y'all. He told Bill that, they have a little bit of an issue, and Bill was like, what's the issue? He says Uncle Clifford is the issue. He is the club is going into foreclosure, but he does know about this casino, and he ain't, he's not gonna go away quietly. So Andre's like, well, how about, we just extend an offer to him, before the foreclosure when he can't refuse. And Bill says, no, since we, why don't we just, since it's going on the block, why don't we put it on there for auction? And the mayor looked at him like, what'd you say? He said, I didn't mean it like that. And, the mayor tells him like, actually, Bill says to them, if they can't get the land at their budget that they have for them, they'll take their business elsewhere. So Mayor Ruffin said that, he'll expedite the whole proceedings for this foreclosure. So, they end the call with Bill, and, Mayor Ruffin tell his assistant that he wants something. She's like, what do you want? He said, bitch, get out. And I'm like, damn. He just straight up called her a bitch, like completely rude as fuck, calling her a bitch. So then Mayor Ruffin is mad at Andre for going down to the, the Pank, talking to Andre, because now all the business has been, talked around in the club. And, he tells him to keep him and his dick out of that club. And he also tells him that, he wants the Kyle sale done by the end of the week. So then we do see Autumn. So Autumn she found Andre, and she wants to apologize to Andre for what, everything that happens. And, she's talking about she wants to be with him. I'm like, oh, okay, Autumn, if you say so. Now, she tells him people need to know that they're getting played with this whole casino situation. So then they go back and forth with each other for a minute, and then he mentions her child, and she just goes off and talking about, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. I'm like, well, I mean, never mind. You almost let him fuck you, but okay. So then, she tells him that her daughter is gone. So then, this is the next morning, because we see her, and she wakes up in his room, and he's just sitting there looking. I'm like, that ain't creepy. And like she told him that her daughter was gone. So then we do see Autumn, and she's making multiple transactions of this $9,000. And I'm like, wait a minute, where is she getting this money from? Is she doing OnlyFans? Like, damn. Because I think I saw $9,000 3 times on top of the first time we saw her. Like, where are you getting this money from? FEMA? Like, where are you getting this money from? Inquiring minds wants to know. Is it legal? Probably ain't. It probably ain't on the legal end. Let us move on. All right, you guys. So next I want to talk about Mercedes. I'm going to talk about Mercedes, and I'm going to talk about Keyshawn together. So the episode opens. So we see Keyshawn, and she's with this guy. She's giving him a lap dance, and he's not, giving her any money. He ain't paying for it. So Mercedes comes up to him and like, hey, bruh, like, out of all the niggas in this club throwing money, you the only one that's not throwing money, because he was sitting there telling Keyshawn that he didn't feel right giving her money. That's like giving a homeless person $1 million. This woman is giving you a service. Tip her. Give her her money. And she says, you probably ain't even got no money. He says, oh, I got money. She says, well, give it to her. So he takes the money out of his pocket and throw it at her. And Mercedes like, pick it up and hand it to her. He was like, no. So Diamond overhears. Diamond comes over, tell him to pick the money up. He said no to Diamond. And he stood up in front of Diamond, and Diamond just choked his ass up, told him to pick that money up and to give it to her. And homeboy had no choice but to give her the goddamn money. So then we see Mercedes girl, so they're doing a little routine, and then we see Mercedes as she's checking out the place that she wants for her gym. And she's talking to the realtor, and the realtor is asking her, oh, so what are you doing with this place? She's like, I'm turning it into a gym. She's like, oh, that's something this community needs. I mean, ain't nobody gonna come to it. She says, no, it's not that kind of gym. She says, it's a gym for my girls, my dance troupe. And then the woman says, what kind of money you make? What kind of money you make doing that? And she was like, well, I don't. And then the woman was giving her some tips about what she could do to make some, how she could do the money, how much she could charge. Because the woman tells her, you're not selling a product, you are selling an experience. And then the lady's like, well, maybe I should show you some of my other rental properties. And Mercedes is like, no, I want this place. So, the woman says, okay, I'm gonna need a down payment from you by the next day. Mercedes is like, cool, I got that. So then we see Patrice. Now, I will say Patrice can sing her ass off. And, she's singing, and then this homeless man comes by, and throws some change in the car at her. And, you know, I guess that's a sign from God for her that she needs to, because he's like, you know, wherever, he's like, what church you be at? Because he's like, whatever church you at, I'm going to come to it. So, you know, we see her and she's at, you know, she's at the teller window. And, you know, the thing came down and there was a cashier's check in there for $20,000 and some change. I'm like, so what? I'm like, okay, so she got Mercedes check. I'm like, but I'm like, I feel like something bad is gonna happen when it comes to this check, her and Mercedes. So then we see Mercedes. So Mercedes has been calling Patrice about her money. And you know, each time she calls Patrice, it goes to her voicemail. So she also goes into a room that I'm assuming was for Terica. And, you know, she calls Terica's phone. And on Terica's voicemail, it says that she's on punishment for 3 weeks. Now, Patrice, you know, we see her at church. You know, she's singing. And once she stops singing, she goes into her own little sermon. And the pastor ain't feeling this because the pastor's trying to get the microphone from Miss Patrice. Like, give me the motherfucking microphone. Patrice is like, no, you ain't taking this microphone from me. So he pulls her to the back. And he asks her, like, what you think you're doing? She says, well, you said you're going to try me out on the pulpit. Or is that what you tell all your church hoes? I'm like, damn, all his church hoes. Okay, Miss Patrice. So he tells her, you know, now here's the thing that gets me with Patrice. She quotes so much secular music. Last week she quoted Deborah Cox. This week she quotes Mary J. Blige. No hateration and it's holleration. I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. Cool. All right, so then we see Mercedes. Mercedes is with her client, the coach. He gives her a necklace with her name on it. And, you know, he's really still trying to take care of her. But I'm like, again, ain't you married? So how is that going to work? You married, but you want to take care of Mercedes. Okay. I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you have it. Don't want to talk about this? All right, so yeah. So Mercedes, like I said, she just got the necklace from the coach. Whoop, she gives the necklace to Big L and tell him to use it. I'm like, God damn. You know what? I would have wanted to have that necklace appraised to see how much it's really worth. But whatever. So, you know, as, Mercedes is leaving the office, she gets a call from Patrice. And, you know, she tells Patrice, like, don't come to the club. Meet me at the Kroger. So she's going to meet her there. And she's in a dressing room. And Autumn is in there. And Autumn says, you know, that Locke going to be looking for a new owner pretty soon. And, you know, Miss Mercedes had to school, you know, Miss Autumn. She telling her, you know, she said, that's an OG locker. You know how I got that locker? She's like, how? I earned it. So then she says, well, do you have any parting words for me? She says, yeah, clock all the X's in this bitch, because you never know when you might turn a closed door into a window. She says, don't you mean a closed window into a door? She's like, bitch, what did I say? I'm like, yeah, what did she say? I'm gonna say this for last. Gotta say that for last. All right. Gots to save that for last. All right. So here's the thing that I didn't mention earlier. So when Uncle Clifford was went to get Autumn out of the dressing room, Keyshawn and Gidget were in there. And Keyshawn is talking to Gidget about what she overheard when she was with her client last week. And, you know, it's a situation with the Pank and the casino. How they're building a casino, but there's no room for the Pank in this. And then Mercedes was in that dressing room with them. Now, I will say Mercedes was wrong in what she said to Keyshawn and to Gidget. She was wrong, but she wasn't wrong at the same time. Because she said she's always told them to stack their money up. Which I understand that. Stack up your money. Don't just frivolously spend your money. Have an end game. I understand that. But it was the way she said it to them. And even what she said to Gidget wasn't wrong. Because Gidget was talking about, you make it seem like this is a bad place to be. It's not a bad place to be, but I would hope that you would have more aspirations in life than to be a stripper for the rest of your life. So that's what Mercedes was saying. But she said, I bet your mammy didn't tell you that. I'm like, oh my God, really? I mean, yes, granted she can't strip forever, but why would you say that? That's just fucked up. So fucked up. But let's move on. All right, you guys, and I do apologize if this review is all over the place. It's because my notes were all over the place, literally. Next week we'll get better. We'll get back on how I usually do it. It was just a lot in this episode, and I want to make sure that I got every single thing. Shit, something just flew my eye. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to make sure I had got everything. So yeah, so forgive me, but we see Mercedes. So Mercedes is meeting with her realtor, and the realtor tells her that the space has already been bought, and Mercedes is like, huh? Like, but my mama coming down here with the money. Like, what's up? And we see Patrice come out of the building, and she said, Mama. And the woman's like, that's your mama? Oh shit, gotta go. So then we find out that it was actually Patrice who went and bought Mercedes' gym. I'm like, you dirty ass old lady, because I'm not gonna call out her name. I'm like, you dirty than a motherfucker. And Mercedes like, you took my $20,000 and you bought this? She's like, yeah, God was talking to me. God told me this. God should have told you to get your own fucking money and find your own spot. Oh, Mercedes. Mercedes isn't her fault, but I would have beat her worse than what Mercedes beat her. Like, Patrice would have been lucky. Patrice literally would have had to call God to get me off her motherfucking ass. Like, if I saw a penny roll across the ground, pop, bitch, move. Like, if I thought I saw a penny, pop, bitch, drop me. Like, if I thought about a penny, pop, punch that hoe. Like, I would just punch that hoe until I couldn't punch her no more. Like, oh my God, like, that shit pissed me off. Patrice. I would have beat the shit out of Patrice if that was my mama. Now, my mama would have stole from me, and I would have never hit your mama. Promise you. Never would have hit you, because you would have never stole from me. But the fact that bitch, I was trying not to call her a bitch, but I gotta call her what she is. The fact that bitch sat there and stole her daughter's money, but you judge her for what she does. So how did your Lord tell you to do that when you don't agree with what she does? You don't agree with what your daughter does, but you okay to take her money to use it for the church at first and then use it for your church. Baby, promise you, Patrice would have never thought about touching $20, let alone 20 cents again, once I was through her motherfucking ass. And we do see that Patrice and Mercedes both got arrested. I would have been cool with it. I mean, I wouldn't want to beat my mama ass, but when your mama do some foul fucked up shit like that, you gotta whoop the whole ass. But you guys, that was the P-Valley review. Be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware when I drop anything else. Also, share this video. Until the next one, you guys, do me a solid favor out there. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and stay hydrated, and I will catch you guys later.